Inside the Magic, show number 457 for January 5th, 2014. It is Sunday, January 5th, 2014. This is show 457 of Inside the Magic, and as always, I am your host, Ricky Briganti, with the first show of a new year. Happy New Year, everybody. It is 2014 indeed, and it's time for yet another wonderful show, packed with plenty of Disney and theme park fun. Before we get to all of it, I invite you to visit our website at InsideTheMagic.net. There you'll find all of our podcasts and videos and photos and news and articles and a whole lot more. And if you ever have any news, tips, questions, comments, or anything else that you want to send to me, you can do so by emailing me at ricky@InsideTheMagic.net, or you can call and leave a message at 407-494-4ITM. That's 4486. And now, let's get on with the show. This week's episode of Inside the Magic is brought to you by Magical Travel. You can experience the newly reimagined Disney Magic with new spaces and surprises to delight kids, adults, and families. There are 5-night Western Caribbean cruises sailing from Miami, and you can even get some free shipboard credit with each booking. But you're going to want to book now for the best availability and pricing by calling Magical Travel at 866-207-8387 or visit them online at magicaltravel.com to receive a free price quote. And be sure to mention Inside the Magic to receive your free Disney gift card for qualifying bookings when you book your Disney vacation with Magical Travel. And thanks very much to all contributors to Inside the Magic. If you did any holiday shopping through our Amazon affiliate link, thank you very much for that. Or if you're just contributing anyway, a single donation, recurring donation, any of that, all very, very much appreciated. And now let's get started with a trip around the world. This time of the year is always, well, I was going to say it's always interesting, but it's actually the opposite. It's always less than interesting because it's the very beginning of the year, and it's following the holiday season, which hopefully everybody out there had a very Merry Christmas, a great New Year. I went over to the Contemporary Resort up at the top of that to the new California Grill viewing platform and watched the spectacular fireworks of the Magic Kingdom. A great view from up there. In fact, I even posted a video over on our YouTube channel of that, which tens of thousands of people have watched, which was quite a surprise, but actually shouldn't have been because it is a fantastic show from up there. So if you need a little extra New Year's fun, head over there and watch that video. But you may have noticed also YouTube and on Facebook and Twitter and even on the website for the last couple of weeks, haven't really been posting a whole lot, and it's for a couple of reasons. It's been, well, it's the holidays, and I gave myself a little bit of a break for once. It's nice. But also because, there's not really a whole lot going on that's new during this time of year. It's kind of the holiday thing. But even so, there's still some fun and interesting news to cover here. Just a little bit of it. So we'll start off, and of course last week was the big year in review, or the half year in review with Paul Berry. So it's really been a couple of weeks since I've had sort of current news to talk about. And anyway, let's start with a little bit of business news, actually, where recently, within the last couple of weeks, Disney has added a new member to its board of directors. It is Twitter chairman and Square CEO Jack Dorsey. He was 37 years old. He is one of the co-founders of Twitter. In fact, he sent the first tweet back in March 2006. So he is now on the Disney Board of Directors. Interesting there. Also, Disney's CEO, as 2013 came to a conclusion, that is, had his pay for the year. He received $34.3 million, which was actually down 7% from what he received the year before. Now let's move to the world of movies. Of course, we're talking about 2013 ending, 2014 beginning, and it's worth sort of running through what you can look forward to from Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures over the next year, 2014. Every beginning of the year, Disney likes to send out sort of a reminder to the press saying, hey, here's what we have for our slate this year. So I'd pass that along to all of you so you can know exactly what's going to be at the box office. That begins the February 28th. And actually, I should note this also includes everything that is Disney related. So, they have this deal with to distribute DreamWorks pictures. So it includes those as well. So on February 28th, a movie called The Wind Rises comes out. On March 14th, it's Need for Speed. Then on March 21st, the first sort of really highly anticipated Disney film, Muppets Most Wanted, is coming out. April 4th will be Captain America: The Winter Soldier. On April 18th will be Bears from Disney Nature. May 16th, $1 Million Arm. And then May 30th, Maleficent. I know a lot of people, myself included, are really looking forward to that one. Moving into the summer season, July 18th, Planes, Fire and Rescue. That's the Planes sequel. There is no Pixar movie coming out this year, 2014, because the schedule kind of got shuffled around in recent months. So very unusual to have no Pixar film this year, but you get an animated film in Planes, and another one coming up in just a little bit. August 1st, Guardians of the Galaxy from Marvel, the second Marvel movie of the year. Of course, Captain America was the first. I'm really looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy. Looks like it's going to be potentially a really good, quirky movie, which I like. So then August 8th, The 100-Foot Journey will be hitting theaters. October 10th, Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. Then, here's your animated movie for the year, November 7th, Big Hero 6. Now, Frozen is doing tremendously well at the box office. It'll be interesting to see how Disney is following Wreck-It Ralph and Tangled and Frozen up with Big Hero 6, which is based on this sort of obscure Marvel property, but it is a Disney animated film, a CG film. From what I saw at the D23 Expo back in August, it looks like it could be really good. Again, with a sort of a quirky group of characters. So another one I am looking forward to, though it's many months from now. November 21st, McFarland is the name of the film. And then on Christmas of 2014, this year, Into the Woods, the musical adaptation or whatever, is going to theaters. So there you go. That's Disney / DreamWorks' lineup of films for this year. Now, I did just mention that Frozen is doing well. It's amazing, actually, how well Frozen is doing at the theaters. You remember the teasers, the trailers that came out for Frozen, where Disney was billing Frozen as the best Disney film since The Lion King, and everyone thought, really? Huh? Really? Well, maybe they were talking about the box office numbers, because as of this weekend, its 7th weekend in release, it's number one at the box office. It had dropped out. It's number one in its 7th weekend. That's pretty impressive. It has crossed the $600 million mark globally, which means it is now the highest grossing Disney animation film of all time, except for The Lion King. There you go. So underneath it at the box office, it brought in domestically $20.7 million this weekend, which is very good for the 7th weekend. Behind it was Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. Then The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, was at number 3. That film is not doing perhaps as well as many thought it would be. And then Wolf of Wall Street is at number 4, which I actually saw that film and I quite enjoyed it, but that's very, very, very not Disney. Continuing with some movie-related news here. Thor, The Dark World, which came out fairly recently in theaters, is now on its way home with a 3D combo pack and single disc Blu-ray and DVD and on-demand, and all of that will be happening February 25th, so about a month and a half from now. Or if you want the film sooner, a little less than a month from now, on February 4th is when you'll be able to get Thor, The Dark World in digital 3D and digital HD downloads online. Now, of course, we're talking Marvel. I'm sure we'll be talking to plenty of Star Wars in the future as more comes out about the films that are being made there, and it's all under the Disney umbrella. Well, even more of that is now happening, this sort of synergy between all these companies, because just a couple of days ago it was announced that Lucasfilm and Marvel and Disney all joining forces for new Star Wars comics and graphic novels beginning in 2015. They're going to create and publish them under the Marvel name, and it's not unusual because back years and years ago, March of 1977 was when Marvel first published the very first Star Wars comic book, Star Wars #1. Later on, in the 90s, it went over to Dark Horse Comics, stayed with them for the last 20 or so years, and now it's going back to Marvel. Of course, as I said, it's all part of Disney now. So Star Wars, Disney, Marvel, enjoy. Speaking of comic books, coming up in about a week and a half on January 18th at Beach Ball Comics in Anaheim near Disneyland, the Seekers of the Weird #1 comic from Marvel. This is the sort of Disney Parks-inspired, Museum of the Weird-inspired comic book that's coming out, I believe, January 15th, while on the 18th there's going to be a signing at Beach Ball Comics with some Imagineers, including Brian Crosby, who is drawing variant covers for this comic, and Rolly Crump will be there. Of course, he was the mind behind the Museum of the Weird concept years and years ago, legendary Imagineer, so he'll be there as well. So if you're in the area, you don't want to miss that. Now, let's turn to the parks for a little bit of news. Out here in Orlando at Walt Disney World, this weekend was kind of a big weekend for closings. The Celebrate the Magic parade, not Celebrate the Magic, that's the projection show, the Celebrate Dreams Come True, whatever it is, it's gone. It's the daytime parade at the Magic Kingdom, the 3 o'clock parade that's been running for years and years, and it's had different names over the last 10 or so years. It's gone through minor transformations. It had snow globes at one point, etc. Point is, this weekend was the final performance of that parade, and honestly, good riddance. It was a kind of a nice parade 10 years ago or so when it first debuted, but it has definitely gotten old. It's run its course, and I'm really looking forward to its replacement in just a couple of months. Mid-March is when the Festival of Fantasy Parade is going to be debuting at the Magic Kingdom as the daytime parade. So that should be pretty exciting. So I'm definitely not going to miss the any of the floats of the one that's been there forever. Hopefully, none of them will be returning. Meanwhile, over at Disney's Animal Kingdom, the popular Festival of the Lion King stage show has closed sort of temporarily. It will be moving to a new theater over in the Africa section rather than Camp Mini Mickey, and it'll reopen in 6 months or so. Disney hasn't actually set a specific date as when it's coming back. They're going to make some changes to the show, but they haven't said to what extent, but they have said it is coming back. So if you're a big fan of Festival of the Lion King, don't worry, it's coming back in some form. But Camp Mini Mickey, closed. It's making way for Avatar Land, Pandora, whatever you want to call it. That's where it's going. So you can't go to Camp Mini Mickey anymore in Animal Kingdom. Some more changes coming up to Walt Disney World. Reportedly, by the end of this month, January, all of the hotels around Walt Disney World are going to convert to magic bands as opposed to the key to the world cards that you normally get, which means you go to a hotel, you stay on Disney property here, you will get your magic band as your room key, as your entrance to the park, if you're buying park tickets, which most likely you are, and link it to your credit card, link it to whatever you want to link it to, and it'll all be handy in one easy-to-use magic band. At least they hope it is. It also means that as long as all of this goes according to plan, that within just a few weeks, everybody staying at Walt Disney World hotels will no longer be able to use the classic FastPass system, the one where you go up to the machine, you put in your ticket, you get a piece of paper. They are seemingly rapidly phasing that out in favor of the new FastPass Plus. I can only imagine that annual pass holders like myself will be receiving our magic bands not too much further in toward the beginning here of 2014, and the rollout seems to really be coming within the next month, 2 months, 3 months, however, whatever pace Disney wants to make it happen. But overall, seems like a positive thing. And once they sort of nail down some of those final details about how everything is going to work, that's when I'll talk a little bit more extensively about this whole My Magic Plus, FastPass Plus, etc. I know I haven't said a whole lot about it so far because I really didn't want to report on details that could and likely would change as far as how it works. So you can look for that sometime in the near future. But for now, chances are pretty good that if you're coming out here in a month or so, you'll be using the Magic Band system. Meanwhile, over at Epcot in Norway, the Frozen meet and greets with Anna and Elsa continues to be very, very popular on a daily basis. And originally, that meet and greet was only scheduled to be till the end of 2013. Well, now they've given a date of the end of this month, January 31st, that Anna and Elsa will be in Norway for at least that long. They may stay longer, or they may go somewhere else, maybe Magic Kingdom, who knows? But for now, they're Epcot Norway seems like the place that makes the most sense given the setting of the film Frozen, but perhaps not the most ideal meet and greet location, since whenever they are there, they seem to be drawing very large crowds to meet them, since the movie is so popular. Now, I mentioned those Disney shows, the show and the parade that were closing this weekend. Well, over at Universal Orlando, there was a show closing as well. The Beetlejuice show that is performed on a daily basis closed this weekend. It'll be back also later this year. They've re-auditioned, and it's going to be sort of a new version of the show, so very similar to what's going on with Festival of the Lion King. Just a big weekend for closures, immediately following the busy Christmas season. And one more closure happened this weekend to round out the news, this time jumping over to the West Coast at Universal Studios Hollywood, where the last remnant of Back to the Future there is now closed, Doc Brown's Chicken, which was always a particularly unusual concept to begin with, and lately didn't really serve that great of food anyway. Well, it's closed, and you can probably guess as to why that would be. If you think about, well, let's see, Universal Studios Florida, what opened up recently that's got fried chicken involved? I'll let you put the rest together yourself. Nothing's been officially announced as a replacement for Doc Brown's Chicken, but let's just say some yellow characters might be involved, and I'm not talking about the Minions. And that'll do it for your news from around the world this week. Here's a great tip to start off the year from Paul from Spokane. Anyway, Paul writes, after booking my last trip to Walt Disney World, I was asked to complete a survey. And on the survey, it asked what I consulted before booking my trip. It also asked how many times I consulted each of these websites. 1 time, 2 times, 5 times, 100 times, etc. I think it is important that each of us answer this survey, being sure to show unofficial Disney fan websites like Inside the Magic as being our main source for information. This should help remind Disney that giving access to you and other podcasters is important to the financial success of their parks. Paul, thanks very much for that idea. You're right, it is important, though I know there are a lot of Disney folks that listen to this podcast, that go to Inside the Magic online, watch the videos, etc. It is always good to sort of relay that to the people who do these surveys, and it's good that the Disney is asking specifically, where did you hear about Disney? What made you book the trip? And in doing so, they actually list websites, blogs, etc. as an option. So if any of you happen to get one of these surveys and that is an option, make sure to tell them that Inside the Magic was a good source of information for you. It is a good thing, whether it's Inside the Magic or any of the other countless Disney sites and podcasts out there. It's a good thing for all of us when you let Disney know that we're being helpful for you in any way, and hopefully we are. So everybody else, email your tips into tips@insidethemagic.net. Now, before we jump into a special, year-beginning conversation, I do want to mention Capturing Magic, the pair of iPhone apps that are the ultimate tool for documenting and recording the magic of your Disney vacation, whether you're at Disneyland or Walt Disney World. Capturing Magic offers a helpful list of photo opportunities and memories to capture before, during, and after your trip. It's a perfect way to ensure that you don't miss any of those magical moments while you're in the parks. The app's going to remind you of any of the photo ops that you picked on a list when you're near those locations. So it's going to say, hey, you're here, take a picture, and then you do that, and you mark who's in the photo and what camera you used, and then you can easily organize all of those photos later. Search for the Capturing Magic iPhone apps in the iTunes App Store. Joining me for this first show of the new year, 2014, once again, I welcome back Skipper Ben.
My New Year's resolution was actually to be on the first show of 2014, so I'm done.
Congratulations. All right, now get off.
Oh, see you later.
No. Now, there's a good reason for having you on right now. I mean, it's always a good idea to have you on because I'm always happy to talk to you. But specifically, it was show 404 on December 30th of 2012, just before we hit 2013. You were on the show here, and we talked about our Disney New Year's resolutions, things we were going to do at the 4 parks at Walt Disney World. And how'd that go?
I thought we agreed never to talk about this.
Well, yeah, that's probably a good idea. New Year's resolutions, it's one of those things that everybody makes them and then nobody keeps them.
Yeah, because I broke every one of these that I made last year.
Yeah, I pretty much did too. Just to run through them real quick. Let's see. I'm going to go through yours. Did you eat at the Be Our Guest restaurant at the Magic Kingdom?
I tried, couldn't get a reservation. That's not my fault.
Okay, well, at least you tried. That's a step in the right direction. At Epcot, did you go see O Canada?
Pretty sure I didn't even step 1 foot in the Canada Pavilion, let alone see O Canada.
Not even off kilter?
Well, I did get some cheddar cheese soup because we were there for the Food and Wine Fest.
There you go.
That's it.
Okay, well, that's better than O Canada.
That was kind of on the promenade, though, so I still don't count that in.
So you kind of walked by Canada.
I walked right past it.
Okay, perfect. So at Hollywood Studios, did you eat at the Brown Derby?
A little rich for my blood there, Ricky.
Well, they have the new Brown Derby lounge out front, which is excellent.
Yep, I do plan on hitting that on the next trip.
Definitely worth it. It took me a while to get there finally, and I did recently had these great duck tacos. They're fantastic, not too expensive. It's great. So then you said you wanted to do Flights of Wonder at Animal Kingdom.
Wasn't that a temporary attraction for the opening of the park? That's still there? What are you talking about?
Yeah, Flights of Wonder's still there.
Oh, yeah, missed that one.
Right. Well, so much for the resolution.
You didn't do much better than me.
No, it's true. I didn't eat at the Plaza restaurant at the Magic Kingdom. I still have never been there. I had said I wanted to get a picture with Mary Poppins and Alice in the UK. I did end up getting a photo with Mary Poppins, but it was kind of a surprise thing at a special event at Hollywood Studios, so that didn't really count. And I didn't see Fantasmic, and I didn't ride Triceratops Spin.
See, I at least have the excuse of having to fit all of my resolutions into very small windows throughout the year. You, sir, no excuses.
I only had an entire year to try to do it.
If you had one more day, Disney day.
I had it was going to be the 32nd day of December, and then someone told me there isn't one, and yeah.
Don't you hate that?
So I think this time what we need to do, since nobody ever keeps resolutions, let's do the complete opposite. Let's say something from each of these parks that we just don't want to do, that we refuse to do, and then if we don't do them, then we're actually sticking to our word.
That seems much easier.
It is. It is. And in fact, let's make it even further. Instead of just doing the 4 parks at Walt Disney World, let's do the 2 over at Universal as well.
Which some of our Disney listeners would just suggest we don't do anything at Universal.
See, now that I would not be able to keep because I will definitely be there for Diagon Alley.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, that I'm looking forward to. But let's start with the Magic Kingdom. What will you? Well, first I should say you are planning on coming out here at some point, right?
Yep, planning on another trip again because of Diagon Alley. But I made a lot of trips to the parks over this last year, actually, because of some work-related stuff. And I'm hoping, some of those things happen again. So, we'll at least plan for the October trip. But who knows? Maybe we'll get there another time as well.
Yeah, excellent. Some of you out there may have seen Ben's photos that he sent over as an update to Universal Studios Hollywood a few weeks ago. Some exciting stuff going on out there.
Yeah, I might have to get me a season pass to Disneyland one of these days. I end up out there so often, and Universal Studios Hollywood as well is just growing like crazy. It's a great place to visit.
Absolutely. All right. So, Magic Kingdom. What are you absolutely not going to do? What do you hate? What do you dislike? Whatever you want to say. What are you not going to do when you go to the Magic Kingdom next time?
I don't want to say necessarily I hate this attraction,
Okay.
but Ricky, I have these two things called children. And there's an
Things.
attraction there called the Hall of Presidents.
Yes.
That a 2 and a 5, and at the time, if we go when we go in October again, it'll be 2 and 6. They don't do it, and I can't make them. I can barely sit there and watch the entire show, let alone hold down 2 Rugrats to sit there and watch that entire show. If it's not spinning, if it's not going up and down, if there's not singing and dancing, they're not interested. So I can pretty much guarantee Hall of Presidents, we will not be visiting that attraction again on our next trip.
I am picturing in my head the Hall of Presidents Hoop-de-Doo review.
I could get behind that.
That would be funny. You got Abraham Lincoln up there doing a jig or something. I don't know.
You got George W.
Yeah, that's true. That would be the whole show right there.
There you go.
You'd stick him up there with the Country Bears, and well, it writes itself.
It does. So that's for another podcast. So we'll do our whole script for that show.
That would be funny. So for me, this is an easy one. Stitch's Great Escape is something I will never do again at the Magic Kingdom.
I say that every time myself, but then I find myself being at the parks for like extra magic hours by myself with the wife and kids back in bed, and I'm staying out till 2, 3 in the morning, and there's just nobody there. Those doors are open, and all of a sudden I drift in and I watch the show. So I can understand why you wouldn't want to do it, and I do encourage people not to do it because if the crowd numbers are low enough, maybe they'll finally put something really worthwhile back in that spot. But I don't know. I end up doing it every time. Maybe I'll be join you on this venture of not riding that attraction.
Yeah, I've done it exactly once ever, and
really,
yeah, that's it. I went. I was such I went. I saw Alien Encounter a bazillion times. One of my favorites of all time. Disney. When that closed, I was crushed. And then Stitch moves in, and I'm like, all right. Same theater, same concept. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they just needed to inject a little Disney in it. And from room number 1 and beyond, what they did to Sir and Skippy and the whole show, I was just appalled by it all and said, I am never stepping foot in here again.
What, the 90210 joke is a little dated for you?
I honestly don't even remember that because all I remember is Chili Dog. That is the only thing I remember.
Well, see, my thing on that attraction again, I'm a diehard Alien Encounter fan. That was just so awesome. But in Stitch, the story's terrible, the attraction is terrible. But I do find the Stitch audio animatronic cool enough to, if there's no wait whatsoever, I don't mind sitting in there and kind of just taking back and just watching him by himself and the way he moves and the articulation on it. I do think he's a really cool audio animatronic, but yeah, you could just forget the rest of the attraction.
Yeah, save your breath. You're not going to convince me.
All right, I'll stop.
So,
Chili Dog?
No Chili Dog.
Okay.
Epcot. Let's see. I'll go ahead and go first here. I can tell you that at Epcot, I am not going to stay for the Norway movie after Maelstrom. I'm going to walk right through every time.
I do hate the one thing that they do now where it's the option for you to walk right through, because when we went as a family growing up, it was always a challenge to get through those doors before they closed.
Yeah.
And you were so bummed if the doors closed. You're like, I got to sit here for 5 whole minutes and watch this terrible film.
Yeah, it's
so
true.
it's taking some of the fun out of it. But yeah, there's no way you're going to do that.
I will. There will be a footnote, an asterisk on this one. If for some reason Norway, Maelstrom, the movie, any of that converts to something Frozen related, okay, then I'll watch it.
Dude, they're just going to put Frozen the entire movie on a loop in that room.
See, and I would probably sit down and watch some of it. Unlike,
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, unlike what's there now.
Yeah, that's totally understandable.
All right, so what are you not going to do at Epcot?
Well, I'm a big Bill Nye fan. Like a while back, I guess.
Right.
I still like him now.
Right.
It's just the relevance of him has died off a little bit. So, Universe of Energy, we got to do something with that place. It's so dated. It's so old. The science facts to me just seem like you're reading a textbook. It's like when you're growing up going to school and you can just tell your textbooks are really out of date.
Yes,
that's what
exactly.
that attraction is now.
That is exactly what that is. And, there's so much potential to update that along with Innoventions and many other parts of Epcot. And, there's some of it you're like, I don't want this to update because of nostalgia. And then there's that.
It's just wasted opportunity there. And again, can't support that. You got to hope at one point, they figure it out and put something new in there. Update the attraction with some of the new science that we've learned over the years. Something. It's so dated. I can't expose my kids to it. They're gonna learn facts that they're just gonna get behind in school if I do it, and I would be a terrible parent if I took them on that attraction.
Even the Jeopardy bits look dated because Alex Trebek doesn't look like that anymore.
Not at all. Yep, I agree. So that one we'll skip like we have our last several trips. So that's nothing new for us.
All right. Over at Hollywood Studios, what is your must not do?
I will not ride Toy Story Mania.
Really?
Without a FastPass or FastPass Plus reservation.
Yeah, I could see that.
There's, I walk by and you see a 200-minute wait. Not gonna happen.
No,
not gonna happen. I love that attraction. Love it. But I have no problem not doing that attraction on a visit if I don't have a fast, quick, and easy way to get on the ride.
Yeah, as entertaining as Mr. Potato Head is, that's not worth standing in a 3-hour line.
And you see them for a brief second
right.
in that queue.
Yeah.
You're exposed to them for a very short time, and the rest of that queue is so boring.
Yeah.
So, no matter how great the ride is, it's just not worth that kind of a wait without having a FastPass Plus option of some kind. So I guarantee you will not see me going into the left side of that queue. Not going to happen.
Okay. For me, in 2014, I will not be going to see Lights, Motors, Action.
Interesting.
Because
that, yep.
I've seen it, I think twice ever, and that was enough. I kind of get it. It's like, okay, this is the show, smelling the burning rubber, etc. And really all I can do is sit there and think, I wish this was Residential Street, or I wish this would turn into Star Wars Land.
Which, I think we're going to see something major go on back there. It is an attraction that I do find myself, if I'm with somebody who's never done it before, I will take them to go see it.
Right.
And I do find myself enjoying it while I'm sitting there watching it. But yeah, if it's just me and the family that we've done it multiple times, there's no reason whatsoever to go back there. And it's weird because it has to do with the content of that show, I think, because Indiana Jones has been there much longer than Lights, Motors, Action, and right. I still find myself wanting to go see that every time we go. And it's dated, and it's the same darn show it's always been, but there's just something, I don't know, warm and fuzzy about the Indiana Jones, whereas the back, you're just sitting there on those metal bleachers, baking in the sun, watching cars fly around.
The only good, if you go to the very back of the bleachers, though, you do get a nice view of the park.
Well, there's something I've never done before. I'll have to take that in. And then you can leave right before the show starts.
Yeah, exactly. So that leaves us with Animal Kingdom. I'm not going on Primeval Whirl. Not going to do it.
Really?
Spinning? No, not going to do it.
See, I think that's a hidden gem. It's a terrible ride. Don't get me wrong. But I love it.
See, like Magic Kingdom, I was tempted to say Teacups again because of the spinning, but Stitch's Great Escape, I would ride Teacups 50 times in a row before I go in Stitch's Great Escape. But at Animal Kingdom, I was looking at the list, and I'm like, out of everything here, Primeval World, no.
Yeah, I enjoy all the attractions there, and even the kiddie rides over in the dino area because of having kids, and they enjoy those kind of things, and there's not just a ton to do there to begin with. So I found myself very hard pressed to find an attraction I wouldn't do again. So an attraction did not make my list over at Animal Kingdom. A restaurant did for me.
Okay, what do you got?
Pizzafari.
I've eaten there quite a few times.
Really?
Not recently.
Okay, I just think there's much better options in that park then why waste it on a pizza place that just does those, there's nothing special about the pizza whatsoever, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's just the the going down the conveyor belt pizza. When you've got Flame Tree Barbecue, you've got the counter service over at Yak and Yeti. If you can get in the Tusker House, there's so many better options. Don't waste your time going over Pizzafari, at least in my opinion. So we will not be doing Pizzafari. If I want that kind of pizza, I'll go to the Pizza Planet, in my opinion.
Yeah, I the only reason, I mean, I like I said, I've been there a number of times, and it was always just one of those convenience meals. You're like, well, I'm over here already in the park, and we have to be over here because of a FastPass, or it's raining, or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I'll grab one of these pizzas.
See, I guess the convenience thing is one of my arguments against it, because every time I seem to poke my head in there seems to be a line that's just a billion people, and they're all getting their multiple, snack dessert credits.
Right.
It's like, no, why? Go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so,
true.
Maybe if the lines were much, much, much shorter, it would be an option for us, but I don't think the food's that great, and I'm not going to wait in that long of a line, especially if I can walk around the corner and go to Flame Tree, where we just love that place.
True. So let's leave Walt Disney World, head over to Universal Orlando, the original park there, Universal Studios Florida. What are you not going to do there?
When you still tout an attraction as like the best attraction from the 90s, you probably need to update it. And so I'm looking at you to Terminator 2 3D.
Oh, come on.
I like it. I like it. It's just it's a big piece of land right there for something new to go in. And they happened in Hollywood. In Hollywood, they took the attraction out, and they're putting in the Minion Mayhem, and they're putting in a huge. For those who didn't see my pictures, the pictures probably don't do it justice compared to what you see from Minion Mayhem in Florida. That whole Despicable Me area in Hollywood is huge, and it's taken up that old Terminator 2 building. And, seeing that just makes my, the wheels turn in my head going, what could they do in Florida with that whole corner of the park? I love the ride. I love the movies. I think the special effects in there are really, really cool. It's just, it's time. And if they're going to update something in that park, you've only got a couple options anymore. And, frankly, if they're not afraid to take out Jaws, then they're not afraid to take out Terminator 2 at some point. So I think it's on its last legs, and for me, I got several other things, especially when Diagon Alley opens over there, that I would rather be spending my time than seeing a movie I've seen 100 times already.
It's true. It is one of my all-time favorites, and I absolutely will be upset when it does go away. But I get it. It's definitely dated, though. It holds up pretty well for its time.
It does. It does.
For me, the thing that I just walk right on by every time I'm at Universal Studios Florida, and will continue to, is Fear Factor Live.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
It's one of those things that it's got all the things that are wrong with Lights, Motors, Action, with the big stadium, and you got to wait for show times and this and that, and then it's Fear Factor, and I'm just no.
It's the dated reference.
It is, yes, exactly.
If we have a problem with Jeopardy, Universe of Energy, which Jeopardy is still on TV every day and very popular, then we obviously should have a problem with Fear Factor, which, they had their short little return to NBC this last year and just went off as quick as it came on.
And the show in the park has come and gone here and there, and I've always thought, oh, it's finally going away, they're going to do something. No, it always comes back.
Yeah, the only thing about that place is, with it being the home for Bill and Ted during Hollywood Horror Nights, and I did get to see my first Bill and Ted show in that theater this last visit, and it's a wonderful venue for that.
It is,
in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's the type of thing that it should be used for normally.
Yep, and that's why, get rid of the concept of the show, don't get rid of the theater, put something new in there in those times to kind of fill those holes until Hollywood Horror Nights rolls back around, because it is a pretty nice little venue.
Before all the emails come in, that is Halloween Horror Nights, not Hollywood.
What did I say?
Hollywood.
Oh, Hollywood. I apologize.
I know. Universal Hollywood. I know, it's confusing. Anyway, Islands of Adventure, last park that we're going to do for this. For me, it's a no-brainer. The Storm Force Accelatron, again with the spinning. It's just not my thing.
You need some kids, Ricky.
Well, even I would be like, go have fun. I'm going to watch you barf, whatever.
Oh, that's actually what Abigail and Elena do as we prepare for our trips. Their favorite thing to say is, "Daddy, we're gonna ride the teacups 1,000 times and make you sick." So
Great.
Storm Force fits right in there. We did it this last time for the first time with the girls, and they loved it. So as long as I can, not get too sick on it, I'll enjoy it with them.
Marvel in general is getting to be weird in that park. At first, it was like,
yeah.
the Marvel Disney connection didn't really hit immediately when the purchase happened. It was like, yeah, Universal can still have it. But now, however many years, 4 years into the purchase now, and with the big movies, and it's starting to show up in the cruise line and in the parks and all of that. And yeah, it's like, oh, I'm at Universal and this is Disney.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
And then hearing all the attractions, and the plans they have for parks around the world that we won't get in Florida until some kind of resolution takes place, which, probably will never happen. It's hard. That's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, or even the recent, just a couple of days ago, the announcement of Star Wars comics now coming. They're leaving Dark Horse, going back to Marvel, which is Disney. So you've got the big three now all in one.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, I've got one that I feel is a pretty solid candidate over for Islands of Adventure, and that is Popeye.
Yeah, I almost went with that one.
In really, Dudley Do Right's right behind it. I do think they're pretty cool attractions. I think the theming's very well done, especially on the Dudley Do Right side.
Yep.
I think it's a very fun attraction. There is just a limit to how wet I want to be in a theme park, and feeling like I'm walking around like in a shower,
right,
and just drenched head to toe and not going to dry for hours on end. That's just not enjoyable to me whatsoever. And I like Jurassic Park around the corner, and to me, that's an acceptable amount of wet.
Yeah, you have the chance to get a good splash on you at Jurassic Park, but it's still something you can dry off pretty quickly. Like Dudley Do Right, I feel like you literally go under the water and it's as if you jumped into a pool.
Yeah, and same with Popeye. I mean, it's just, to me, I don't mind a raft ride if you're going on the water and you hit a big spot that gets a big splash on the raft. That's fine. It's when you go around the corner and it's like, oh, we're going to put a waterfall here. And if you go under the waterfall 7 times, like every corner is another waterfall. That to me is just gratuitous, and I'm not into gratuitous water attractions.
I agree completely. Again, if it wasn't for the spinning thing, then I probably would have gone with that. And even
I got to get you here to Texas to do the new the Texas Sky Screamer. Have you seen this?
I have not.
It's the 420-foot tall tower that the classic swinging attractions at local theme parks.
Right.
Just the chains, and you sit in a seat and you're on chains and it turns around and swings. Do that 420 feet up in the air.
Oh, no.
It's awesome.
Like I haven't even done the one at California Adventure.
Oh, yeah. So it's just take that concept, but go 420 feet in the air and do that for about 3 minutes. It's a different experience, I'll tell you that for sure. And the scariest part about that attraction is when you sit down in the seat and you look at the chains that are holding you in. It's the same chains that you would see at a park, your local park swing set. And you're like, I'm gonna what?
Great.
No, and yeah, it's crazy. So we'll get you on that one of these days.
No, if I'm gonna go to Texas, I'll be enjoying Schlitterbahn, I'm sure.
Schlitterbahn's another one you gotta get to. Very cool place.
Yep. So there we are. I think we can handle it this time. Of those 6 things each that we are just not going to do this year.
And you know what the bad part is? We're going to roll around this time next year, look back at this list, and we're going to have done all of them.
No, I can assure you. Maybe
We
some.
said this last year that we were going to do all of these resolutions. We didn't do any. And now that we're saying we're going to pick attractions that we're not going to do, we're going to do all of them.
There'll be some freak occurrence that for some reason I have to go to Stitch's Great Escape. I don't know. We'll see. But in the meantime, what's going on with you and Princess Lisa?
Same old. She's still doing the old Disney vacation booking. So if anybody out there is looking to book a trip, especially now's a great time to plan for your summer vacations, and then those trips in the fall to go to that other place across town, the Diagon Alley. She can help you out. So you can find her on Facebook at Princess Lisa Rebstock, and all one word there. give her a shout, and she can help you out.
That's REBSTOCK, right?
That's it. Princess Lisa Rebstock.
Awesome. Well, good to hear from you. And, I felt better knowing that I wasn't the only one to not fulfill any of my resolutions last year.
Me too. Me too. At least I had you, buddy, to go down with me.
Yeah, we'll just pretend show 404 never happened.
It never happened.
All right, cool. Well, we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good.
Hey, Ricky. Hi, Ricky. Hi, Ricky. Hey, Ricky. Hi, Ricky. Hi, Ricky. Hey, Ricky. Ricky, this is amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Inside the Magic, listener feedback.
Always good to have Ben on the show, and I think we'll be able to keep to our New Year's anti-resolutions, if you will. I know I certainly will. You will not find me in Stitch's Great Escape. But anyway, let's get to some listener feedback here. Noah writes in and says, I'm sure you've heard the buzz about the concept of reimagining the Maelstrom ride in Norway in Epcot to become some sort of Frozen attraction. It seems logical to me, and I was curious as to your thoughts on the subject and what you would like to see in a possible Frozen makeover of Maelstrom. Noah, first, let me say, in no way has Disney announced any such thing. Surely, think about the film Frozen, it's set in Norway. Think about Norway. Epcot has Norway. Kind of put two and two together. It's a no-brainer for Imagineers to be considering talking about blue sky projecting, entertaining the idea of putting in some sort of Frozen attraction, especially, as I said at the top of the show, it crossed $600 million worldwide at the box office, is number one in its 7th week. It's a runaway success. The meet and greets have had 2 to 3 hour waits. Certainly more Frozen inevitably is on the way to the parks. There's no doubt about it. But is it going to take over Maelstrom specifically? Well, that I don't know. I think it's, that's one of those attractions that I love at Epcot. It's a classic Epcot attraction. It's sort of that bit of World Showcase that needs to be there to continue to be World Showcase. If they found a way to integrate Frozen characters into the existing Maelstrom, I don't think that would do Frozen justice. And it would also sort of... it's like when El Rio del Tiempo became the Gran Fiesta Tour at Mexico. I really enjoyed the classic El Rio del Tiempo, and I like the Gran Fiesta Tour. It's nice that the three caballeros are there, but it loses some of that Mexican flair, even if it was kind of stereotypical 80s Mexican flair. So I don't know. I feel like a Frozen makeover of Maelstrom would not do either side justice. It wouldn't be a Norway thing anymore. It wouldn't be a Frozen thing. It would be this bizarre amalgamation of the two. If it's going to happen, I would like to see them just gut the thing and start over and make it a true great Frozen attraction. Make it an awesome high-tech dark ride or, a snowy adventure or something. A boat ride just doesn't make any sense for Frozen. I mean, it's Frozen. The water's not going to flow. It's going to be frozen. So that, I think there's obviously something there. Putting a Frozen attraction in Norway makes sense, but as far as Maelstrom, of course, the other problem is there's just not really any more room back there to put something next to Maelstrom. So whether or not it's going to happen, of course, Imagineering does not rush into these things. They'll take their time to do their due diligence and make sure that the concept that they have is exactly what it needs to be. And really, look how long it took to get The Little Mermaid to have a dark ride. So it could be many years before we see anything come out of Frozen in that fashion, if ever. So I do believe that there's probably a concept floating around out there somewhere. Not necessarily going to happen or be announced anytime soon, and not even necessarily for Norway. Doesn't have to go there. Next, here's a message from Jeremy.
Hello, Inside the Magic. This is Jeremy calling from the Neverland podcast with kind of a fun Christmas story that actually just happened to me, even though it's a couple of days after Christmas. I work by day as a courier, and I was inside of a post office picking up packages for a place I deliver the mail to, when suddenly the guy that I was working, that usually helps me out, has a lady come up to him with a small purple envelope about the size of a Christmas card. So I figured that's what it was. She said, well, what am I supposed to do with this? They had no return address, and the sending address said only 2 words, Mickey Mouse. So it seems like some child was trying to send a Christmas card to Mickey Mouse, and that just warmed my heart, and I figured the Inside the Magic audience and even you, Ricky, would enjoy that, and it's a little bit of a late holiday greeting, but it's just kind of nice to think of children writing Christmas cards out for Mickey Mouse. Have a good and happy New Year. All right, bye.
Thanks very much for that call. It's wonderful. Of course, many letters go out, I'm sure, addressed simply to Santa Claus every year, but probably not nearly as many to Mickey or any of the characters. If I had been at the post office and seen that, I might have, grabbed it away from them and written down the Disney World address on there and send it along their way, and maybe Disney could have worked some magic and gotten a response back from Mickey. But short of that, chances are dropping a letter in the mail that's just addressed to Mickey Mouse probably wouldn't make it to him, but you never know. Either way, definitely a fun little story. Some fun Christmas time magic there. Next is an email from Damien, who writes, I hope you had a great Christmas, and thanks for answering my previous question. I just saw Frozen, which wasn't released in Australia until the day after Christmas, and overall thought it was a great film. The story was great, and I loved the music. Let It Go became my favorite. There was many similarities and differences when you compare the film to Tangled, and I agree that the Troll song was unnecessary, and I felt like it should have been they should have left it out. But it was an awesome film to see again and again. Thanks very much for that email, Damien. It is always interesting to hear the reactions as films make their way worldwide, because it's easy to think about releases here in the U.S. and then the immediate reactions and opinions and box office results, and then you hear of a number like $600 million worldwide, which is much, much bigger than what is just the domestic United States take at the box office, and then you think, well, this film didn't even get released until very recently in Australia, apparently, and other countries as well. And so that's why it continues to have legs, not only from people seeing it over and over and over in the U.S. and other films where it's been out for a while, but also those releases that are staggered here and there continue to just make that go up and up and up. And it, of course, helps that it is a very good movie. So glad to hear that you enjoyed it, Damien. And now we're going to go back to the voicemail, this time from Caroline.
Hi, Ricky. Long-time listener. This is Caroline from New Jersey, and I often listen to your show Monday mornings on my smart TV. I'm just calling in as a listener. I've been going to Disney World for the last 9 years. My husband and I, no kids. And this year, 2014, we're going to brave bringing our 2 young children to the parks. One will be a 1.5-year-old and even younger, a 4-month-old. So my question to you is, knowing that some rides have ride restrictions, do I have to worry about looking up ride restrictions for rides that are in Fantasyland that are purposely intended for children? Or am I expected to know whether or not my children can ride, say, Peter Pan's Flight or anything like that, especially with a newborn? And secondly, we're going to be going during the February season, which we typically don't go, so we're not quite sure what the Florida weather is going to be like. And, of course, coming with 2 children, we want to be best prepared. And I've been watching the weather lately, and I see fluctuations between mid to high 70s and then low 40s, so I'm not quite sure what to expect. Anything you can say will be greatly helpful to this new mom who will be braving the parks with 2 young children. Thank you so much for all you do. We love your podcast. We listen every time we get a chance, and hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.
Well, thanks very much for that call, and good luck to you bringing such young kids to the parks. I'm sure it'll be a challenge, but you'll leave with plenty of great photos, and that would be my number one tip is, of course, the kids are not going to remember such an early age trip to Disney World, so take all the photos you can possibly have, because then later on, when they become big Disney fans, you can show them, hey, this was your first trip, especially with their very first ride. That's something that's worth commemorating there. So to answer your questions directly, the non-height restricted rides, you shouldn't have a problem. I mean, there of course are sensitivities depending on the kid to light and sounds and that kind of thing, and you'll know your child better than anybody, so you can make those judgments on your own. But that aside, if they're comfortable, bring them on Peter Pan. It'll be fine. And when there are height restrictions, there's always a baby swap as an opportunity. Certainly by the time you get here, you should be able to use the new FastPass Plus system to your advantage, and either reserve times for attractions that you think your kids would most enjoy, or if you want to be able to not deal with baby swap or deal with any of sort of the other things or scheduling and this and that, you can pick some of the rides that you might enjoy, assuming you're traveling with somebody that you can give your kids off to for a few minutes, and maybe you can go hit Space Mountain real quick and be able to enjoy that as well. As far as the weather, unfortunately, winter is a very bizarre time in Florida. Just a couple of days ago, it was quite cold, and I say this with apologies to everybody out there who's under like 17 inches of snow. Not that kind of cold, but as for us Floridians, it was cold here a few nights ago, where I had to, as I was taking down Christmas decorations outside, I had to wear long pants and layer a couple of jackets on and cover my hands, because it was, I don't know, 40, 50 outside, something like that, during the day. But then just a couple of days later, it was like in the upper 70s again. And it's like that throughout winter. You never know when all of a sudden some really cold day is going to come through, where you really need, not snowy weather, but long pants and a jacket or something like that to keep yourself warm. But then it could be hot and humid and rainy. And you really don't know what the weather's going to be like until just a few days, maybe, if you're lucky, before you come on your trip. So definitely monitor the weather right before you come and pack accordingly from there. And then maybe throw in travel with both shorts and long pants and a jacket and short sleeve shirts, just in case, because you just don't know what you're going to run into, unfortunately. A couple of more emails before we wrap this up. Next is from Sarah, who writes, I was looking at some old Epcot videos today when I stumbled upon something that surprised me. I saw that some people were saying that Walt Disney World will be closing the Journey into Imagination pavilions starting tomorrow for either refurbishment or permanent shutdown. Is there any truth to this rumor? Sarah, you are definitely not the only one to message me over the last few weeks about this rumor. This rumor surfaced quite a while ago that Disney would be closing down Journey into Imagination at the beginning of January 2014, that its Figment's going away, and this is going away, and this and that and the other. It's not true. It's still open. At the T23 Expo back in August, kind of addressing these rumors, even Tony Baxter, creator of all that is great about Journey into Imagination, or at least the classic version, he got up on stage accepting his Disney Legends Award and made sure to make it very clear to everybody that Figment would not be going away anytime soon. So no, there's not any truth to the rumor, at least not immediately. That's not to say the attraction won't undergo some changes eventually, but as far as right now, no. And lastly, an email from Addie, who writes, Hi Ricky, love the show. Just got back from a 3-day stay at Walt Disney World over the holidays, and on our first night in the parks, we went to the Magic Kingdom around 11 p.m., and it was great. No crowds, walked on every ride, and only waited 5 to 10 minutes to see the characters. Good listener tip, go at night after 9 p.m. to the Magic Kingdom, and they still have parades and fireworks, sometimes till after midnight. Anyway, we were going to leave the park, and I wanted to stop and see Mickey, so we went to the Town Square Theater, waited about 5 minutes, and then were ushered in, and what a surprise! It was the new talking/interactive Mickey. I had no idea he was out and about in the park. Have you seen him? It's incredible. I don't know how they do it, but Mickey was able to talk and interact with my family, even telling jokes, all at the right moment. It was not just Mickey saying off a list of pre-programmed catchphrases, and to top it off, it just so happened to be my birthday, and Mickey got everyone to sing me happy birthday. It was amazing. Disney has really outdone themselves. Not sure if people know that the new Mickey is out there, and there were no signs or anything saying Mickey at Town Square would be different than the other ones in the parks. Just wanted to say that the talking and interacting is phenomenal, and everyone should make a point to see it. Addie, glad you enjoyed that. I did make a mention of Mickey being a little more talkative when he officially showed up within the last few months, but I didn't say too much about it after that. In fact, I actually have not even been to Town Square Theater quite yet to see him. Of course, I have spoken with Mickey in the past, and it was quite entertaining. And yes, it is wonderful that finally he is indeed there and talking with yes. I think so much hype and testing has been going on with Mickey's conversational abilities for so long that when it finally rolled out in the park, everyone was like, well, about time, and didn't really make too much of a fuss about it. But yes, he's there. If you go to Town Square Theater, you can go have a conversation with Mickey Mouse, and that's a pretty cool thing. And that'll do it for listener feedback this week. And here we are at the end of the first show of 2014. So coming up for this year, you can certainly look forward to a lot of excitement from the world of Disney and other parks. Of course, Universal, a lot to look forward to there, especially the Harry Potter expansion. And plenty of special events. I'm already making plans next month to go back to New York to cover Toy Fair for the second time. Had a lot of fun doing that last year. A lot of great Disney entertainment and fun and new products to look forward to, and I expect more of the same this year. So there's that in the near future, and beyond that, who knows? We've got many months left of many shows left of 2014. I actually posted over on Facebook earlier today or yesterday asking what everybody wanted to see on Inside the Magic for 2014. I'm planning on making a few tweaks, a few changes here and there, not necessarily to this podcast, maybe on the website and this and that, sort of streamlining things and anyway, but it'll more or less be what you expect. But if you have any thoughts on that, or what you specifically would like to hear more of on this show, or see videos of, or things for me to write about, or people to talk to, etc., go over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Inside the Magic. Look for that post, and you'll see it there, and you can chime in. And I'm definitely reading through all of that and getting your feedback about how to make all of this even better for you all to enjoy. Of course, I do want to thank Magical Travel for sponsoring this week's episode of Inside the Magic. You can find out more about their services by visiting magicaltravel.com. Also, be sure to go to the iTunes store and search for Capturing Magic. Great way to make sure you don't miss any of those magical moments and take lots of great pictures while you are in the parks. Between episodes of this show, be sure to visit InsideTheMagic.net. It is your source for Disney and theme park news, including show notes, background music listings for the podcasts, also all of our videos and photo galleries and articles and links, again, to find us on Facebook as well as Twitter and our very, very popular YouTube channel, and just keep up with all the latest fun. So thanks for listening, and looking forward to bringing you a lot of entertainment throughout 2014. Have a magical week. Goodbye.
There's a great big beautiful tomorrow, just a dream away.